All right, week 2 of training is done. Praises. This week was really good, actually. A lot better than the first week. I did 3 miles, 5 miles, 2 other 3 miles, and then a half on Sunday. So 13 miles. The first 3 miles that I ran, I did it in under 30 minutes, which is huge for me. I was dying afterwards because I don't think I hydrated that well, but it was still under 30 minutes. So that was an accomplishment, my first accomplishment for the week. 5 miles was good, nothing crazy. 3 miles were regular again after that. So this weekend I signed up for the Plano Hot Air Balloon Festival races. They have a 5K, a 10K, and a half. And they also have like challenges that you can do. So I think there was one called the Elevate Challenge, which was you run the 5K on Saturday and then you run the 10K on Sunday. I did the Sky High Challenge where you run the 5K on Saturday and then the half on Sunday. I'm into the challenges because obviously doing Dopey, and I love medals. And you get 3 medals if you do this challenge because you get the 5K medal, the half medal, and the Sky High Challenge medal. So I'm just a little obsessive about the medals because, well, one, you're paying for a race. You're paying to run. You could run that distance on your own without ever having to pay money to run. So I see the medals as a little reward for putting in your efforts. Most races, though, go to charity, which is awesome. But I don't know if the Plano one did. It may have. But I just know that these medals are really cool. And I'll show you them in a minute. I got in on Friday, picked up my bib, picked up my shirt, got all that figured out. Then on Saturday, I ran the 5K in the morning. My friend Nicole, she drove me and she hung out with me leading up to the race and then found me afterwards. And so it was really fun. I didn't expect anybody to actually go to these races with me. Just because I had decided to sign up on my own. And this is actually the first set of races that I have done by myself. I usually sign up with people like with Mindy or Allie, one of my friends from high school who ran my first half with me. I think that was also her first half. So it was a really cool moment. But I usually am used to running with people, races wise. Training, I run by myself. But races are just, I feel like more fun when you have other people with you. So I'm really grateful that Nicole came out. And so that race was good. It was a little humid, and you have to kind of weave your way through the people just because there was no corral. It was just one big start. My first mile was a little slow just because you're just like weaving through all the families and stuff, which is really cool. I love seeing families do these races just because I think it's a bonding experience, and you see like little boys running with their dads and moms, and then like women pushing strollers, dads pushing strollers. I don't know, I'm all about it. I support that. That's my goals for my future family. The course was flat, all on paved roads, so that was nice. So I finished in like 31 minutes, I think. And you get a free breakfast afterwards, which was delicious. It was breakfast tacos. I love when races, when they feed you afterwards, and it's like really good food. And then we went to a wedding that night. So the whole reason I was up in the Dallas area was one of my friends from Sky Ranch, which was where I worked before, he was getting married, and then a whole group of us from that program were going to come out for the wedding. And so I saw that it lined up with the Plano half, and I was like, perfect. So I got a hotel right next to it, and it was a little drive to get to downtown Dallas, which was where the wedding was, but worth it in the long run. Pun not intended. I'm so lame. So the wedding was super cool, super nice, had a blast, danced a lot, because they had a live band, and oh my goodness gracious, live bands at weddings are a game changer. I was kind of worried because I was like, this is getting pretty late and I have to run 13 miles in the morning. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself with this half, even though my training called for running 13 miles. I think with it being a race, changed how I viewed it. This race specifically was to boost my proof of time for Dopey. So when you register for your Disney races, specifically the half and the full, you have to submit a proof of time. So if you think that you're going to finish the half marathon in like 2 minutes and 32 minutes, oh my gosh, that'd be so quick, 2 hours and 30 minutes, then you have to have run a race and have completed it in that time frame. And so they require that you submit your race results from that race. And I had submitted mine from the rock and roll race in last December. And my time for that was 2 hours and 28 minutes, 28 or 29 minutes. My goal for that race was to finish before 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I did, so that was awesome. And that was my current PR time, so current personal record. I wanted to try to run another half to kind of boost my time a little bit, because the quicker you finish, the earlier you get in the corrals. So the corrals at Disney are, I think, labeled A through H. And H is if you don't submit a proof of time at all, which is where me and my friend Deanna were for the Disney half in 2018. And that was stressful, because you're trying to get done in a certain time frame, and being in the last corral is not the best. So I wanted to kind of boost my time so I could get into an earlier corral, which means I have more time on the course, more time to take pictures, more time just to enjoy it. My goal for this half was to finish in 2 hours and 20 minutes. So that would have been about, I think, 8 minutes off my current personal record. And I was nervous, because I remember running the rock and roll, and I ran it as well as I could, and that was what I got. And so now I hadn't really trained much for a half, because I'm training for the Dopey, so I wasn't specifically training for this Plano race. And and also going to a wedding beforehand doesn't seem ideal for prepping for a half marathon. I was just, all right, I'm just gonna do the best that I can and hope that I can just stay within a 10-minute and 40-second per mile pace, because if I can do that, then I'll reach 2 hours and 20 minutes. And so started the race, super great. I started in kind of the front, just because I didn't want to have to maneuver through that many people. It got really humid, and so I was sweating a lot. And I don't usually sweat that much, but I was coated. It was gross. But I had a water bottle with me, so I was hydrating and making sure of that. I had gummies that you're supposed to eat to kind of give you sugars and carbs as you're running a longer race. So I had those. So I knew I was prepared. My watch would tell me what time I finished a mile at each mile. And so the first 3 to 5 miles, I was finishing at 9 minutes and 50 seconds, 9 minutes and 55 seconds. I was feeling really good. And then the sun started coming out, and it was getting really, really hot. And so they were handing out wet towels, which was a lifesaver. Because I kept it with me the whole time. I think you were supposed to throw it away after you ran by them and blotted your face. No, I kept that rag with me the entire second half of the race. But it was worth it. It helped so much. I think after 6 miles was when I kind of started to slow down a little bit, just because it was I think the heat was getting to me, and also just kind of my legs were getting a little tired. But I kept pushing, and I think was passed by the pace group for finishing the half in 2 hours and 15 minutes, because I had a sign. And so people usually stick with the pace groups if they want to finish by a certain time. So the 2:15 people passed me. And I was okay, as long as I can keep them in my sight, I'll be good. I will finish at 2:20 or maybe before. But I was just hoping 2:20. That's all I wanted, was to get that time. And so I kept running, and there were times where I really wanted to stop and just walk for a little bit, and I made up for that just by walking through the water station. So I would get water, pour it into my water bottle, drink some of it, but I would fast walk through it, no longer than 20 seconds, and then I would start running again, because I knew that I needed to keep my pace. By mile 11, I knew I had it. I knew I was all right, I'm gonna get 2:20, but how much further than how much quicker than 2:20 can I go? So I started picking up my pace. And that last stretch of after the 13th mile, you hit the 0.1, and at that point I was sprinting, because I could see the 2:15 people in front of me, and I was I can catch them, I can get there right as they're crossing. And I did, and I finished at 2 hours and 14 minutes and 38 seconds. I was freaking out because that was not what I had intended. I had intended to finish at 2:20 at the best. Like, I was not even expecting it because I was just worried that everything prior to this race was gonna mess me up. But 2:14, oh my goodness, it was a really great feeling, and I was so tired afterwards though, but all worth it. And my legs weren't like super sore. They're kind of sore now, but that's also because I spent like 5 hours in the car driving home afterwards. Dumb. Now I can actually relax and enjoy my training runs, because as I was running the half, I was like, this sucks. I'm so focused on just trying to like be fast that I'm not really getting to enjoy much of it, just because I was just wanting to get done, or wanting to be done. And so now I can like take it slower on my training runs, because those are going to be now like 14 miles and 15 miles and 18 miles. Oh goodness. And I can have fun at Disney, because I now will be in an earlier corral. Hopefully I think like D is my goal. I'm super proud of myself and never thought that I would get there. Well, never thought I'd be a runner to begin with, but never thought that I would finish a half that fast. And so now I'm going to show you all the medals, because the medals are super cute. So this one's the 5K medal. I don't know if you can see it that well. But a little dangly thing. This is also the first 5K I ran that actually gave you a really good medal. So props to races for shelling out for a really high quality medal for 3 miles. It's worth it. People work hard for these 3 miles and they deserve a reward. And so here's the half one with a little dangly balloon right there. At first I was like, where's the A? I'm like, oh, the balloon's the A. But I like it. It's kind of cool. It's a unique medal. And then the Sky High Challenge medal is this one. This one, I like this one too. It's kind of cute. It's like simple, but worth it. And I like the lanyard. When races do themed lanyards that go with their medals, the best. Disney by far does the best medals all around, but I like it that other races are kind of keeping up with that as well. But it was a good week. It was a good week of training. Thanks for everybody for texting me about it, encouraging me throughout this, and watching the first video. Next week, just I guess a normal, I have to run 14 miles on Sunday. But it'll be fine. I'm not doing a race. I don't have any more races scheduled, I think, until November. Yeah, so just gonna be doing mostly training, so it won't be as fun. I won't have medals to show y'all unless I find a race. That'd be fun, just a random 5K in there. But thank y'all, I appreciate it. Stay tuned to see how week 3 goes. Yay.